I was in college in the dorms back in the day, and I had just gotten ready for bed. I had a roommate, and we had a visitor to our dorm room, and it was a mutual friend of ours. And this friend came in and was chatting with my roommate, and I was in another part of the dorm room. And then I came out, and this friend that had come to visit our dorm room before bed looked at me and was like, oh, what? And the shock on her face, she was like, Kendall? Hang on, what, is that you? Oh my gosh, what are you? I don't even recognize you. Like, seriously, you look like a completely different person. I'm not exaggerating, but yes, that was her reaction to this. I had taken off my mascara. That's it. I was mascara free, and she saw the face I was born with. My eyelashes are clear, just like my eyebrows almost are clear. This is the real me, you guys. This video is about the love-hate relationship that many of us have with our faces, the way we look, makeup specifically. My love-hate relationship with makeup probably started in that moment when it occurred to me and reinforced just how drastic of a difference just mascara makes. I don't wear foundation. I love for my freckles to show through. I don't wear foundation or even eyeshadow, eyeliner, just mascara for my everyday. It's actually a huge deal for me to show this face publicly in a video like this. I'm doing it to help encourage anyone else out there who might be feeling like they have to present themselves in a certain way to be acceptable to themselves or to others. I strangely have the courage to put this video out mascara free, makeup free, and I don't have the courage to go to work without mascara or go to church without mascara. I might go to a grocery store without mascara, but then there's that little part of me that's like, what if I run into somebody I know? But then again, according to this visitor in my dorm room many years ago, maybe they won't know who I am if they run into me at the grocery store anyways. But I'm telling you, like, if this is the first video that you're seeing of me, just go look at all my other videos, most of my other videos, and I have mascara on. I look completely different to me. And according to that visitor to my dorm room years ago, I look like a completely different person, apparently, and it's shocking. Apparently. I mean, I get it. I agree. On video, I guess it's a little less drastic than like when I looked in the mirror before doing this video. I was like, oh my word, I do. Like, I always come back to that moment, and I remember that friend walking in to the dorm room and her shock, saying she didn't recognize me, that she genuinely thought I was someone she'd never met before. This was someone I saw all the time, every day at college. So her voice still sticks in my head when I look in the mirror and I have no mascara on, and I think like, oh my goodness, you need to get some mascara on. Okay, that's why I'm making this video. I have a love-hate relationship with makeup. My journey with makeup began as a... It's so funny. My journey with makeup began with a completely different experience than the one I just described to you from college. When I was, I think, like 13, I remember being, like going grocery shopping with my parents and just seeing makeup and things. And there was one time when I was 13 that I saw makeup on the shelves, and I got this, excuse me, I gotta take a drink here. I'll tell you what the deal is, how I got inspired to do this makeup-free video. It has to do with a sickness. But anyways, that'll come later. So I remember distinctly being 13 in a grocery store and seeing the makeup or it was a department store or something, and seeing the makeup on the shelf, and just something woke up inside of me that was like, I want to wear makeup. And it was like almost like, oh, like choir singing and magical sparkles and glitter happening in my mind of like, I want to wear makeup. I can wear makeup, right? So I asked my mom, Mom, you're probably watching this. Thanks for saying yes. We bought all the stuff. We bought liquid foundation, powder, whatever the powder stuff is, blush, eyeshadow, maybe mascara. Well, anyway, we bought almost all the stuff or all the stuff. And oh man, I was so excited. So we got home and I was like, I'm going to put all this stuff on. And so I did the full thing. And then, I won't say who, but a family member came home and I was kind of like, ta-da! And I was like, maybe my mom said, hey, so-and-so, what do you think of Kendall's makeup? And this was the response. That's a lot of makeup. Which is true. If you go from this to like all the stuff, it's going to be, yeah, I get it now. But at the time it was like, oh, I might have toned it down for like, I don't know what I ended up doing for my daily makeup, but I love the smell of makeup. Like even now, if I smell like eyeshadow or blush, I'm like, the powdery stuff, I don't know. I just liked it so much. Well, my relationship with makeup shifted and changed over the years. So we had that 13-year-old who wanted to wear all the things and then heard the like, wow, that's a lot. And then I was like, oh, like self-conscious, thinking I was wearing too much. I don't remember, I maybe, trying to think, I'm thinking of my school photos, my yearbook photos from 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. I think I was makeup free, or maybe I was wearing like the foundation and like this stuff. But then in high school, so junior high, catch my previous videos on friendships and things. Junior high was 7th grade was great, but 8th and 9th grade were rough. But when I went to high school, it was a totally different world opened up to me. I felt confident. I had friends. I just loved high school. And I look back on pictures of me from high school. I'm thinking specifically like my 16th birthday. I apparently had gone back to the like everything. So I had like foundation, powder, mascara, eyeshadow. Like there's some photos where I'm like, I look kind of almost ghostly white just from all the makeup that I'm wearing. But I think at the time, I think it was in style. I personally was not in style, but I think the amount of makeup probably matched the time. Anyways, all that to say, somewhere in there, when I went to college for my freshman year, so after graduating from high school, I don't know what happened, but somehow I got this idea that like, I need to like how I don't know if I said need. I was like, I'm not going to wear makeup until I'm happy with how I look in the mirror with no makeup. I don't know why this came to me, but somehow I got this big conviction of like, excuse me, hope that didn't get my microphone. I had this big conviction of, I am not going to wear makeup until I'm happy with my face without makeup. So I went to college, I made friends. Maybe that was it. Like I was having a fresh start, a clean start. I'm going to make friends that know me just from college, like, because it was out of state. So maybe I felt more confident to like, oh, somebody's delivering a package at our door. It's distracting. Anyways, they can't see me through here. Anyways, so it was going to be a fresh start at college, and I was like, I'm not wearing makeup until I like how I look without makeup. So, oh, there you can hear the Amazon truck backing up. So I went to college, made some awesome friends, And at the time, I think one of them described my personal vibe, style, clothing, and everything as granola Sesame Street, which was funny. Okay, but all that to say, so I made a point to, like, when I look in the mirror, if I still don't like how I look, I need to wait. So I was like, I need to wait and not wear makeup because I'm still not totally happy with what I see in the mirror. So I had this friend group, living life, having a great time. I'm seeing photos of myself without makeup, and I'm like, okay, because I looked like this. I mean, just but younger. So no, none of these things. So like this, but younger. And I was loving life in college. And although there was an interesting moment hanging out with my group of friends, one of the guys who was dating one of my friends, he looked at me and he's like, Kendall, after all this time, I've suddenly realized you are a beautiful woman. I was like, thanks. Like, it took you a few years. It was meant as a compliment, but it's like, who wants to hear that, like, after a long delay, I've realized you look nice? So funny. Anyways, it's fine, but it's kind of a funny thing to look back on. Anyways, so continuing my relationship, love-hate relationship with makeup, I ended up taking a break from college and I moved back to my hometown and was living with roommates and working jobs, retail, things like that. And I was still not wearing makeup. So I got a job. I said I was working a bunch of jobs, but before I worked a bunch of jobs, there was one job in particular that I started working at, and everybody was younger than me, even though I was at the time younger than me. Maybe they were like 18 or 19, and I was like early 20s. And there I was, Sesame granola style, Sesame Street granola style, no makeup. And all my coworkers were like young 19-year-olds, like, well, me and one of my friends, we call them like makeup girls, where it's like full makeup, cute hair, lashes, everything, cute outfits, and cute little styles. And I started to feel like self-conscious. I was like, I just don't feel pretty. Like, I felt like when I went to work, I felt like the not pretty one. And I don't know why that hit me all of a sudden. I was perfectly happy with my group of friends for like several years at college. And yet I came back to my hometown, got a job. It was like at a photography studio. I didn't work there for very long story. But, and then all of a sudden I'm around these cute young girls, cute young makeup girls, and I feel like not pretty. And then all of a sudden I was like, Kendall, if you want to wear makeup, just wear makeup. And I was kind of feeling these little stirrings of freedom, almost like that same excitement from when I was 13 and you see makeup and you're like, I could wear that. That could be fun. I could feel pretty. So I went and I got just mascara, maybe some eyeshadows. I think I just started with just mascara. And I put mascara on my eyes. It'd been on my eyelashes. It had been ages. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, I like that. I like how that looks. I like how that looks. And I felt so good. And so I never went back until, so today, that's why it's like a big deal for me to actually publicly show you the shocking difference of how I look like two different people. So the reason I'm even not wearing mascara is because weirdly, I got pink eye this last week. I don't know if you can really tell. It's this eye. It's getting better. I had to miss work. We went traveling a couple weeks ago, and while traveling, I felt like I was kind of the hints of having some sort of sickness. Anyways, as time went by, I kind of felt lightly sick, vaguely sick, and then I got like full-fledged pink eye, which I don't think I've had since I was a child. Anyways, I'm cleansing my eyes because, like those of you who wear mascara or do eye makeup, that if you have a sickness in your eye, if you keep using your mascara while you have problems with your eyes, you can reinfect yourself. Anyways, long story. So all of that actually inspired me. I don't know why I thought, like, just do a video makeup free and talk about the love-hate relationship that a lot of us have with makeup. So I'm doing it. I really cannot believe I'm showing you how I look without mascara. It's a big deal for me. It's not a big deal for some people, but for me, it's a huge deal. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to talk about our love-hate relationship with makeup that some of us have. Some people, they don't care. They're like, oh, I didn't put my makeup on today and I'm going out. Who cares? I would love to not care. I don't think I've ever, like that goal that I had when I was like 18 or 19 going off to college, and I was like, I'm gonna like how I look without it. I think I maybe had one moment during college where I looked in the mirror and I was like, I do like how I look. Or maybe it was seeing a photograph of myself where I was like, I do like how I look without makeup. That was one moment. What I'm trying to say is, especially as women, and I've talked about this in previous videos, is, you know what, I'll link to another one. I talk about like how a lot of us as women, we apologize for our appearance and my whole thought process behind that and body image and things like that. I'll link to it below, but I want to reiterate it here again because one, I want to say if you have like a love-hate relationship with your appearance, including makeup or not, that you're not alone and you're not the only one. I think there's a lot of us out here that could relate to it. Two, I want to say what I said, a little bit more about what I said in that previous video about how we apologize for our appearance and thinking about body image. A lot of times, the only thing that helps me during those moments when I look in the mirror and I find something that I don't like, I have to remind myself, Kendall, if it is okay for women to not all look like supermodels or pretty people or makeup girls or look a certain way, if it's okay for other people to not have to look like that, you don't have to look like that. And to ask myself, what does it mean if I think, oh, it's fine if you don't wear makeup, but I need to? Or it's, you look fine without it, or don't worry about it, but I should worry about how I look without it. That's another aspect of this. But the part that I kind of touched on with that is, if we're going to accept how all women look, if we're going to say like women don't have to wear makeup, we don't have to all be skinny models or conventionally pretty, if I genuinely believe that, then by accepting what I see in the mirror, I am accepting what other women see in the mirror. And if I very much don't want to be a hypocrite in all areas of my life, but in this area, I have to remember, Kendall, if you look down on how you look in the mirror, you are saying that, since I'm a woman, you're saying that women shouldn't look like that. And it reveals a big hypocrisy in me. And so to be consistent, like literally sometimes that's the only thing that helps me when I look in the mirror and I'm like, I see something that I don't enjoy personally on myself. That is the thing I have to remember. So I wanted to let you know that in case you have a love-hate relationship with makeup or your appearance, self-image, is that ask yourself, do women have to look a certain way? Should women look a certain way? If not, if you really believe that, then include yourself. You know, there's that quote that says, if your self-compassion does not include yourself, it's incomplete. And I would say, if your ideas of self-image and what women should or shouldn't look like doesn't include yourself, meaning accepting how you look and not having to look perfect like a model all the time or ever, then it's incomplete. So I hope that's encouraging to you. Like I said, I still, that Kendall from 18 or 19 that was like, I'm going to like how I look without makeup. That I can honestly say is still not 100% there, which is shown by the fact that would be mortified to go to work or church, maybe another place or family gathering. I'd be mortified if I showed up without makeup. Yet I can come on YouTube and do this. And I know I'm risking people being shocked because I do look very different. To me, I look very different than mascara me. Anyways, that's my love-hate relationship with makeup. What is your relationship with makeup? Is it similar? Could you relate to it? Or is it totally different? Please comment something about your journey in the comments, because even if it's different than my journey, someone else might see your comment and be encouraged by it and be able to relate. So, thank you for watching.